Hi friends, ERIKATESLA here. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for deciding to click on this video. And if you're returning, it's so great to have you back. This video is a bit of a follow-up to a video I did on my Pat McGrath Mothership palette. You guys really seemed to like that one. And as a really big fan of the brand and someone who's very optimistic and hopeful that 2026, the brand will make a comeback, fingers crossed, I wanted to share with you my quad collection. So over the years, in addition to shopping the Mothership palettes, I've also picked up quite a few of the quads when I've had the opportunity to do so. I really like the quads. I think that they tend to be on the more affordable side, if you will, of Pat's offerings, and it's a really nice way if you are interested in the brand, trying out the formula. You still get a little bit of that luxury feel, and they're very much comparable in price to the YSL quads, the Dior and Chanel makeup. So for me, as someone who hasn't really dipped too much of a toe into the luxury world, for me, I found a way to rationalize it with Pat McGrath. So I thought it would be fun to just once again do a ranking of the Pat McGrath palettes that I have, but in the quad format. And again, the ranking is purely subjective. This is largely based on just my preference, what I like from color to formulation. I will say they're all really lovely. So if you happen to have any of the quads yourself or any of these look familiar to you, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you think of these. Everyone's opinion is subjective, and I think that's the beauty of makeup, is that it really just comes down to personal preference. And honestly, the whole point of this video is just to have fun. I like to think of it as a walk down memory lane, especially since some of these are no longer available. So let's go ahead and get into these. So in front of me, I have 8 quads. I do believe there are a couple I probably don't have, but we're gonna go and start with number 8, which is the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad in Flur Fantasia. Very cute, very pretty, but this one is at the bottom for me just because I felt like of all of the quad launches, this one was probably, in my opinion, the least exciting, the least special. These are beautiful colors. There is nothing wrong with these colors, but it's a very muted color story. Honestly, I didn't think that there was anything particularly standout or special about this quad in particular. Now, I do have medium skin tone, and in the summertime my skin does get a little bit deeper, and not that I can't wear this, but the colors are a little bit more on the softer side, so I would probably stick to wearing this in the springtime before I really get my deeper tan. But this is a really beautiful quad for someone who has a light to fair complexion. I don't believe this one is available anymore. I'm pretty sure that this was limited edition. Again, it's a very soft, pretty color story, and I was attracted to that. But then of all the quads that I have to say this is at the bottom for me, just because I feel like there are color stories in the quad lineup that are more exciting to me. Next up, we have my 7th pick out of my 8 quads. This is going to be the Divine Rose Luxe Quad in Eternal Eden, and this is actually what I have on my eyes today, guys. I will say it's a very pretty palette, and much like I mentioned in my previous Mothership palette ranking video, the main reason this one is lower on the scale is just the color story. It's very pinky. I believe that when this one was launched, if I'm remembering correctly, it ran into the same issues that the Divine Rose Motherships faced, in that it's just a lot of pink, and people wanted to see the brand do more, I think, interesting and different color stories. So these are really beautiful shades. The formulation is incredible. I have to say, I actually really enjoyed working with this palette to create this look today. For someone like me with textured lids, these colors perform really beautifully. The shade Temptation, which is this very pretty soft highlight shade. Actually, I think this would be just like a great shade actually for the cheek. I did use this on the brow bone, and so this is one of those shades that I do really like for brow bone highlighting. But the rest of the shades, they're just kind of like, okay, you know, it's pink. If you like pink, this is a great palette. It's very flattering. As you can see, it showed up beautifully on my skin tone. Formulation is really nice. The mattes blend so beautifully. They're really soft. So my issue isn't with formulation. Once again, it comes down to color story preference. preference. I don't dislike pink. Obviously, I think pink is a great color. It's one of my favorite colors, but when I'm thinking of Pat McGrath, I'm thinking of something that's a little bit more interesting and exciting. And I think that this falls in the ranking just because at the time that it came out, we were getting so much pink from the brand. So I don't have any hate for pink at all. I'm just thinking of it in the larger context, and that's where it is in the rankings. But still a beautiful palette nonetheless, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. So in 6th place, guys, we have the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad in Risque Rose. So this one is a little bit higher than the previous palette just because we've got a little bit more punchiness and excitement. We have more interesting textures here and more bold coloring in this palette. This one is, I think, a really good companion to Divine Rose 2, which is also one of the more bold of the pink palettes that Pat has released. But again, it falls where it does mainly just because of color story. There's no issue personally with the formulation in my opinion. I like how these colors work. You know, this is okay. This is okay. It's really just the color shades. I would say the most exciting shade in this palette is this color, this shimmer here called Lavendering, which is really, really pretty. So it's like a lavendery, silvery shade. It looks almost wet. But then if you take this away, then you really just have like 2 pinks and a brown. And as far as color stories go, that's like just, you know, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's one that you can get a beautiful look with. Perfect everyday palette with a little bit of interest with this shimmer here if you wanted to amp up the look a little bit. But this is why it's number 6. It's towards the bottom of the picks that I have for my quads here. So it's okay. Still pretty, but just okay. All right, coming in at number 5, we have one of the OG quads. This is from the Blitz Astral Quad launch. This is one of the first quad holiday releases that hopefully I'm remembering correctly, that Pat launched. And this is in Ritualistic Rose. This one is kind of in the middle, mainly because of the color story, but it's ranked higher than the other ones because we've got the special shades in this one. So we've got a lot of pink, but it's special pink. And these shimmers are really, really gorgeous. So I really enjoy this one because it is a really nice companion palette. So if you wanted to pull in some of the special shades here to top a look, you can absolutely do that. So yes, it's a full shimmer quad, but I think that's what makes it special. And I think you can kind of get away with that with quads because usually with smaller palettes, I feel like I tend to use them as companion palettes. I don't necessarily look at them to necessarily complete a look unless that is what the brand is aiming for. But this is a really pretty one. It is available actually on the Ulta website. I don't see this one available on Pat McGrath's site, or it might even be in Sephora. I'm not really sure. It's still a really beautiful palette. I would say with this one, I would try to use a primer because you do have that looser shimmer and the formulation's a little bit drier than some of the more emollient shimmers like the one in the previous palette that I showed you. So if you really want to pull out the full potential of this one, I would recommend, there's a primer that Pat does sell. It's like an eye primer and it's really cool for pulling out the shades. But if you don't have that one, you could definitely use something more affordable like a glitter glue or something like that. And I know that that kind of might put this palette at a disadvantage because for $62, it's not cheap. It's not cheap, but I still really love the sparkle in here. And I think it's one that I'm really happy to have in my collection. And I love this brown shade here. I wonder if I can find the name of the color that is on there. Let's see. This is Beyond Bronze. I think Beyond Bronze is like honestly like the star of this little quad. Like if you're looking to do a little chocolatey smoky eye, so pretty. But I really like this one. So it's in the middle because of color story, but for me, I really like a little pizzazz and a little bit of sparkle. So we're getting into the top half of my quad collection, guys. So coming in at number 4, we have another palette from the Blitz Astral Quad collection. Okay, this, I had to look up the name because in the OG quads, it doesn't have the name on there like it did in the later versions of the palette. So this one is Iconic Illumination, and I really love this one. It is Such a beautiful color story, very elegant. I have worn this one and really loved the looks that I've gotten. The shimmers in here, the sparkle shade in here, this is one that I would definitely recommend using like some kind of eye primer or eye glue or glitter glue to really pull out the full potential of this one. But overall, it's a really beautiful color story, very pretty for winter and fall. And we have this rich red shade here, this beautiful bronzy shade, and this like soft golden shade here as well. So again, this came out, I believe, during one of the holiday launches and was one of the first sets of quads that I can recall Pat McGrath launching. Commenters, feel free to correct me down below. Really like this one. I think it's pretty. You could definitely get away with doing like a one and done situation or using this as a companion palette to one of her other palettes or anything else that you have in your collection for that matter. But really happy to have this one, and it's kind of sitting a little bit higher in the rankings mainly because it's a little bit different than the pinks that we see a lot in Pat's line. All right, we're getting into the top 3, and in 3rd place we have Venus and Flur's Luxe Quad Voyeuristic Vixen. This one is in the top 3 mainly because of the palettes that have been launched in the quad format. I think this has one of the best formulations. I really love the shades in here. This is such a beautiful color story. You have a very soft white beautiful highlight shade here with this hint of gold. We have this incredible special shade here, the Rose Fire Nectar, which just really amps up your look. We have After Dusk, which is like an incredible matte, and then we have Twilight Bronze here. Like, these shades are really, really beautiful. This is one, and just swatching these is really nice. I have to say, of the formulations of the palettes that I've ranked so far, this is why this one is in the top 3 for me. And I love the color story. Yes, it's neutral, but it's a very interesting palette, beautiful formulation. This is one where you can really get a complete look because you have a matte in here that you can use to ground the look, and you can work around the rest of the shades in the palettes. Of course, you could still use it as a companion palette if you're looking for a more mid-tone matte shade, but if you were in a pinch and you wanted to just use this one by itself, you absolutely could. And I do believe this one, let me see, let me check and see. This one is, yes, this one's still on the Pat website. So it's retailing for $62, but if you can get it on sale or use your points, because I do believe Ulta carries some of the quads as well, I would definitely recommend doing that. This is definitely one, if you were looking to get a quad, I would definitely recommend this one, and I think it's just absolutely beautiful. Coming in at 2nd place, we have another Blitz Astral Quad. This is in Nocturnal Nirvana, and the reason this one is coming in at 2nd place, guys, is, as you can probably guess, the gorgeous color story here. I would say out of all of the quads, this one's visually the most interesting. Now, I have had this one for a while, as I have had the other Blitz Astral quads. So the shades are a little bit drier, guys, but still, look at those colors. Look at those colors. I haven't pulled this one to wear in a while, but I just have such a special place in my heart for this one in particular, just because I remember when this came out, I was so excited for this palette. Like, look at these shades. So stunning. So Blitz Purple, she's getting a little dry on me, and unfortunately this one is not currently available. I checked on Sephora and Ulta's website, and then I looked at the Pat McGrath Labs website, and it says a wait list. I'm not really sure how likely it is that this is going to be back in production, so I don't really know. But just for the colors alone, this is what I think of when I think of Pat McGrath, just like giving us like a lot of fun, a lot of visual interest, different finishes. It's such a beautiful color story. Is this a wear alone palette? Absolutely not. If you were to get your hands on this, this is definitely one that you would pull in to be a companion palette, but the shades are just so stunning. And I really hope that it does make a comeback. I really hope that if you sign up for the wait list, you get a notification. If you do, let me know if you hear anything, because look at these colors. Look at these colors, and especially this shade. Let me see. This shade, VR Emerald. You guys, I'm such a sucker for Pat's greens. So beautiful. I know I already swatched it, but you can see just a finger swatch versus an actual swipe on the hand. Such a stunning shade. So hopefully this one will make a comeback. It's number 2, mainly for color story. She's a little bit crusty and dusty, so purple, she's struggling over here. She's a little bit grainy, but the rest of the shades are doing okay. Don't judge me if you see me wearing this. My number 1 spot goes to the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad in Interstellar Icon. I've had this one for some time, and unfortunately I don't believe that this one is in stock any longer. So I hope it's okay with you guys, because I really love Pat McGrath's brand, and so I know some of these aren't available, but it's still so fun to just go through your collection and just rediscover things and why you love them. And I have to say that for me, this was kind of a sleeper palette. I didn't expect to love this one as much as I do, and I will tell you what really did it for me. Obviously these are gorgeous shades on their own, but this blue right here, this shade called Blue Blood, really did it for me because, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. I'm going to swatch these on my hand, and you could see these colors are really pretty. I want you to really appreciate like this blue shade. It's kind of like, you know, it's stunning, it's really pretty, but it's kind of a sleeper shade. I'm going to show you guys. I'm actually going to just do a little black liner so you can see what I'm talking about. So I just grabbed a black liner that I have. This is a ColourPop liner. So this is Blue Blood by itself. This is a black liner. And what I want to show you guys is the reason why I love this palette so much. Of all of the palettes, when you put this on top of a black liner, you get like this gorgeous deep iridescent blue. And what is special about this is if you line under your eyes, if you happen to be somebody who likes to do like a darker liner and then you layer this on top, especially if you have brown eyes, I'm telling you, this is so pretty. And I think that's what really sold me on just loving this palette as much as I do, because the color story is interesting. It's a very wearable palette, but you can also amp it up with just a few tweaks. So if, depending on how you layer it, so if you use like a black base, like this blue just goes to a whole other level. And if you're looking for a softer look, if you like a blue eyeshadow but you don't want to go as bold, this blue also sheers out beautifully. And that's without saying anything about the other colors, which are also really beautiful in this palette. So this one definitely to me is one of the most versatile of the quads. It's the one that if it comes back, I would highly recommend grabbing this one. I just really love this color story. It really caught me off guard because I just, you know, I kind of got into that mindset. I want to have this because it's Pat, but then I got it and then I loved it more than I expected to. Let me know if that happens to you. So I just think this color story is so special. It's so pretty. Again, we have a beautiful soft gold shade that could be on its own. This burgundy shade here, the Divine Dahlia shade, is absolutely beautiful if you wanted to do something a little smoky. And let's see, which one is it? What? Divine Dahlia. Hold on. Oh, no, I mixed it up. Sorry, the blue shade is called Hypnotique. Okay, ignore everything I just said about this. Is Hypnotique. Blue Blood is actually this this kind of deep smoky purple shade. And then Divine Dahlia is this like smoky bronzy taupey shade. Okay, so we're just gonna revise what I was saying. Obviously I got disoriented looking at the shades, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the blue shade Hypnotique, not Blue Blood, is absolutely stunning, and it's for me what took this palette to the next level. So here you can see my number 1 quad. So those are my rankings for my 8 quads that I have, guys. I don't have Venusian Sunrise, which I think is currently available on the website. I'm pretty sure I have everything else. I might have missed out on Passion Fleur. That's the other one that I'm looking at. Those are the 2 that I believe that I don't have. I don't know that I'm necessarily in the space or the mood to go ahead and get them. Again, I'm trying to move away from being a completionist and just having things just to have them. I really am trying to focus my attention on things that are really exciting to me, and not that Pat isn't exciting to me, but if you look at those color stories in particular, they're very pretty, but I have a lot of palettes that I think would meet that same neutral type of requirement. So those 2 I probably won't add to my collection unless there's some kind of deeper discount and I feel really compelled to pick those up. But for now, I feel okay. I feel very satisfied with my Pat McGrath collection. I have plenty of palettes from her that I just absolutely adore and I love playing with. And so even though some of these aren't available anymore, I feel really grateful to have a lot of these pieces in my collection, and a lot of them wear perfectly fine. Absolutely fine. So with that being said, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to give it a thumbs up if you like content like this. Leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. It's so nice to get your thoughts and opinions on some of these brands and products, and just your suggestions in general. If you think there's anything that I should be checking out, I always appreciate hearing from you. And if you haven't yet already, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you join my little corner of the internet. As I like to say, we keep it pretty chill over here. As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I appreciate you doing so. It really means the world to me, and I just appreciate your support so much. I feel like I have the best audience in the world. So thank you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!